everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So today I'm going to give you my interpretation of April 2023's astrology. But as always, you have free will to choose what you want to do during this month. All right, so April 2023 astrology. Well, the big news is that the eclipse season starts this month. And wow, is it a big eclipse? It's a total eclipse. And it's a new moon. It's at 29 degrees of Aries and it's 50 minutes. So we're almost at 10 more minutes and it would be in Taurus. So this is our second lunation, our second new moon that is officially in Aries. So this is very unusual. So certainly for Aries and for Libra, this is an important time for you, in particular Aries. A time of definite new beginnings. So there may be for some Aries another start this month in April for you and whatever new things that you need to do. So when we look at Aries, we're really talking about being independent and blazing our own individual path. So the first lunation we have is a full moon. And that full moon is in Libra, the opposite sign to Aries, on the 5th of April. At 9:35 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And it's at 16 degrees of Libra and 7 minutes. We have the Sun conjunct Chiron. And in Aries, because of course the moon itself is going to be in the opposite sign of Libra. And that Sun and Chiron have a wide conjunction with Jupiter, which is also in Aries. And then, of course, the moon opposes that. The moon opposes the sun at every full moon. But because the moon is with Chiron, there's an opposition there with Chiron too. Now, the other thing we have is Mercury will be conjunct the North Nodes of the moon. And nicely, Venus steps in again and sextiles Neptune. The North Nodes of the moon, in turn, and with that Mercury, will be squaring Pluto. Now, remember that Pluto is right now 0 degrees Aquarius and some minutes. And so there's a few things going on here for sure. At all full moons, there's a culmination of some sort. There could be endings, that type of thing. But in some cases, it can be a good ending. Now, when we look at Libra, Libra is about relationships. It's also about the law or laws. So just generally speaking, these two areas could be up for many people at this time. When we look at the nodes involvement here, I really felt that, especially that North Nodes with Mercury squaring Pluto, I felt that there was, I actually heard a gong go off in my head, almost like, Big Ben, when Big Ben resounds and everybody can hear it. It's that type of thing, that we are going to have this resounding message about our destiny, especially as it relates to shifting power, right? Because Pluto is all about power. There could be some big revelations here as well. Not that that's unusual these days. But I like the real thing I like about this full moon is that the ruler of the full moon in Libra is Venus. And Venus is sextile Neptune. So to me, there's a sweet spot here as well. A sweet spot with regards to a couple of things. One, making our dreams potentially come true, being given opportunities for that. For others, having an opportunity to express love with a soulmate type of person. That could be up as well. But when we have the Sun conjuncting Chiron, I would say that, wounding of some sort could be brought up where you're wounded, and especially as it ties in with potentially relationships. There may be some breakups at this time. A full moon in Libra can indicate literal ending of a relationship. That could be up. But, for others, it could be that you're leaving something that isn't working for you. A relationship that's not working. And maybe even others are waiting to start a relationship. And this is the ending of your singledom. more likely it's going to be with the breakup part of it, but hey, let's include everything in this. So when we go on now to the 9th and 10th of April, we have the Sun in Aries conjunct Jupiter. So for me, this is a very auspicious day. Anytime you've got Jupiter conjunct the Sun, and especially since it's in Aries, this is an auspicious day for good luck and movement forward on our independent path. And the picture I got in my mind was in the tarot, or the tarot cards, it's the Fool. If you can picture that, that's what I really saw, this Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aries. It's a whole new start with lots of luck, lots of expansion, and lots of benefits. So I guess for those folks that need some good luck and movement forward, especially independent movement forward, those 2 days would probably be quite good for you, the 9th and 10th of April. All right, so our next lunation, I've talked a little bit about at the beginning of this video, of course, is the total new moon eclipse in Aries on the 19th of April at 9:12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And as I mentioned earlier, it's at 29 degrees of Aries, 50 minutes. There's 60 minutes in every degree, and so you're only 10 minutes off this potentially being in Taurus instead, but it's not. So Aries, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a second new start. So for those folks that maybe didn't have something start at the first new moon in March, this could just change the whole game. And certainly, just generally speaking, for people that want to have a new start, that want to be independent, that want to express themselves, and they've not had an opportunity to do this, maybe never had an opportunity to do this, this second lunation with this total eclipse could bring something in for you. 29 degrees is a critical degree, and it talks about kind of wrapping things up in whatever sign it's in. But hey, this is a new moon, so how could that be? Well, what it says to me is that for those folks that really have this situated somewhere in their own natal charts, it says by letting go of something, you are able to set yourself free on a new independent path. And that's a big message I got with this whole total eclipse, for sure. The other thing I got is it's only when we enter a relationship do we discover ourselves. I thought that just resonated so well with this total eclipse. Even though it's in Aries, we have it aspected by the opposite sign, which is Libra, of course. So there may be some Librans that have something to do with a partner at this time, or partnership. I'll cover all the signs in the ascendants towards the end of this introduction. What else did I get from that? I guess I got also it's love, right, which is Venus and rules Libra, versus liberty, especially for this whole month when we bring both the full moon and the new moon in. So this whole month, again, is about relationships of some sort, but it's also about the relationship we have with ourselves. And especially this total eclipse that I just talked about, I really felt there was some kind of important message for some individuals that it's okay to blaze your own path. It's okay to be an individual. It's okay to sometimes flaunt the fact that you're an individual. I think as long as you take into consideration other people and respect them, you should be proud of yourself and be proud of going on your own path and not following others like a sheep. Okay, when we look at May coming up, we have another eclipse, but this time it's a full moon eclipse. It's a full moon eclipse in Scorpio, and it's at 14 Scorpio on the 5th of May. So you can think ahead, especially for those folks that have something around, say, 14 degrees of Scorpio, or the opposite sign where the sun will be 4 degrees Taurus. We also have a new moon in Taurus. This is not an eclipse, but it's a new moon at 28 degrees of Taurus on the 19th of May. So those are some things that'll be coming up in May for you. A little preview for some folks. Now I'm going to go on to the individual signs. So for Capricorn, like Cancer, both these moons square you. Now for you, that first full moon in Libra, it squares your 10th house. And the 10th house, generally speaking, is your career. It can also, to some extent, speak to your reputation as well. But it's going to bring in some challenges for you. Generally speaking, it's going to play out with regards to your career. Now, because it's in Libra, it says you may be having some difficulties being diplomatic. You may have some difficulties in your career having balance in it. Maybe you're just working too hard, or you feel you're working too hard. For others, especially for folks that may be Capricorns that are having a relationship on the job, I would say that there's going to be some challenges with that potentially. It doesn't mean you can't overcome them. It just may be difficult for those folks that are having relationships with somebody at work and also working with them at work. There just could be some challenges that are brought up. But I would say overall, this full moon is going to be asking you to be diplomatic, asking you to be fair, asking you to bring in harmony, but you're going to have a problem trying to do it. So I would say meditate, seek out advice where you feel you maybe need to. And hey, there's going to be some Capricorns where you say, you know what? This career is just providing me too many challenges, not enough balance in my life if I'm going to continue doing this career. And it just illuminates that for some Capricorns. And then at the end of the month, we've got another square happening with the new moon total eclipse in Aries, but now it's in your 4th house. So when we look at the 4th house, we speak to the home you were raised in, your present home, your potential future home, your mother, and by extension, your family, and as well as the habits that you picked up early in life. So I would say for some Capricorns, you may have difficulties with your family, or maybe just your mother, or your mother may be having some difficulties, or your family having some difficulties, and you're now drawn into the drama, and you are presented with this challenge that you have to help them work out something. And you may not want to do that, but you're going to be required to do it. For others, it could be that you've, say, purchased a new home, and there's some challenges in the new home that you've got to work out, some kinks that you weren't aware of when you bought the home. For others, it could be that there's some kind of new start in the home here of any sort. Maybe your mother's coming to live with you, or some other members of your family is coming to live with you as a new start for them. And the challenge is, how do I make this home work for everybody? And that's part of the activities you have to go through to make this new in the home. I've got to do this. I've got to construct my home differently. I've got to put in a new bedroom. I've got to put in a ramp for my mom in her wheelchair. Now, it's not going to be for everybody, but I'm just saying those types of things is what we're talking about here, right? Now, all the month of April, you'll be happy about this, Capricorn. Pluto will be in Aquarius, not in Capricorn. Now, I know it does go back into Capricorn, both this year, 2023, and 2024 to some extent. But the fact that you've got the whole of April without Pluto in your sign, because it's going to be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, that's something to celebrate. Now, we're going to have Mars in Cancer this month. And of course, Venus will be in Cancer in May. And this will form an opposition. So you're going to be having, first of all, Mars in Cancer in your 7th house. So there could be a lot of activity with regards to your partner, whether it's a business partner and or a marriage partnership. So something happening with your, a lot of activity with regards to your partnership will be reflected on you. You will be seeing your partner being very, now it's Cancer, so we're talking about compassion. So maybe your partner, with the whole Mars in Cancer in your opposite sign, could be that your partner has to get involved in some kind of compassionate, nurturing project, and you're affected by it in some way. And then, of course, with Venus in May going in Cancer, opposing you, whatever activity they were involved in April, you could get some benefits from that. That's Venus going into Cancer in your 7th house in May time. So look to May to get some benefits from your clients, your business partnership, your marriage partnership. Take care, Capricorn. Well, that wraps up my April 2023 video. I'm sending everybody, especially at this April time period, lots of love, because of course, with Libra, the Libra full moon ruled by Venus, it's love. And of course, with Aries, it's about taking initiative. So I'm sending lots of great new love to all my viewers and my clients. And I'm wishing you the very best with all your relationships in the month of April. Keep me posted on what happens to you. You know, I love to hear from you. And you will hear from me next, probably in my May video. Take care of yourself, everybody, and bye for now.